Hello students, welcome to Notebook. In the previous chapter, you learnt about the specific roles that are ascribed to men and women according to their gender. You also learnt about the prevailing inequality between men and women even in the workplace. In this chapter, we will learn how rigid expectations and fewer opportunities have led to women's oppression. We will also learn about some renowned Indian women's contribution to their country and learn how they have served to inspire several people. Certain stereotypes reinforce the belief that women are good only at certain professions, like that of nurses, teachers, caregivers, cooks, etc. Thus, women's roles are limited either to the domestic front or related work. Science requires a technical bent of mind. It is believed that men are more adept at handling technical concerns. Women, on the other hand, are considered incapable of handling such things or professions. In the 19th century, under British colonial rule, several new ideas and opinions emerged with respect to education. Prior to this, women were not allowed to be educated, and women's education and knowledge suffered a lot at the hands of social oppression. Today, we take education for granted. We do not realize how lucky we are in terms of getting access to education. Our ancestors had to fight a long and hard battle, pioneering the cause of women's education. Certain exemplary figures of history like Pandita Ramabai, Rash Sundari Devi, Rokeya Shekhawat and Lakshmi Lakra have been mentioned in this chapter. Come, let us briefly learn about their lives to know how they have contributed to changing the world around them. Ramabai was born in 1858. She was the first woman to be awarded the title Pandita and Saraswati. She was taught Sanskrit by her father and educated by her parents. She went on to become a renowned scholar. She was an Indian social reformer and championed the causes of women's education and emancipation. She founded the Mukti Mission in Pune. The mission not only encouraged impoverished and widowed women to learn to read and write, but also to be independent. The mission is still active today and even encourages women to pursue skills like carpentry, running a press, etc. Rokeya Shekhawat Hussain was born into an aristocratic Indian family. She knew Urdu, Bengali, and English. In 1905, she published her book Sultana's Dream at the mere age of 25. In the book Sultana's Dream, Rokeya wrote of Ladyland, where women possess the freedom to study, fly air cars, control factors of the weather, and led emancipated lives. Rokeya's book was not only an expression of her desires, but also articulated the desires of many young girls. She founded a school in Calcutta in 1910, which to this date allows girls to fulfill their dreams. Have any of you heard about Rash Sundari Devi? She was an ordinary woman who penned the extraordinary memoir Amar Jiban, meaning my life. Rash Sundari Devi was born in a poor family and was married off in her teenage years. She had a loving husband and kind in-laws. However, family duties and child-rearing claimed most of her time, to the point she often did not have the time to sit down and eat. She would work all day long, almost without rest. She had a dream of reading the Chaitanya Bhagat and worked towards fulfilling that dream. She would hide pages of books and the alphabet in the kitchen and study them in between grueling hours of work. She wrote her autobiography at the age of 60. Her struggles are an inspiration for so many women facing obstacles in an attempt to fulfill their dreams. Lakshmi Lakra is a woman who hails from a poor tribal family. At the age of 27, she went on to become the first female engine driver for Northern Railways. She worked extremely hard in school while balancing household chores as well. She got her diploma in electronics and passed the railway exams on her first try. She serves as an inspiration for many women who want to pursue science to become engineers, scientists, and discoverers. A large number of our population still remains illiterate and uneducated. As of the 2011 census report, 82% of all men are literate or can write their names. For women, however, the statistics read 65%. The adjacent table shows the percentage of students, girls and boys, who leave schools from different socio-economic groups. These not only support the fact that socially or economically backward classes do not get access to or possess incentive to pursue education, but also tell us that girls drop out at a faster rate. Children from several minority communities like Dalit, Adivasi, or Muslim communities are often forced to leave school to take care of more pressing concerns. Poorer, rural parts of India may not even have access to an adequate number of qualified teachers. Boys are often encouraged to pursue their education, while girls are told to tend to domestic work. Many students quit school due to humiliation faced by teachers and students. One such example would be Om Prakash Valmiki. You have already studied about him in the first chapter. Women have individually and collectively worked towards their emancipation. Along the way, there have been several kind and righteous men who have also aided women in their struggle. India has witnessed several campaigns, street plays, public meetings through which women have spread awareness. Women have also stood by each other in times of hardship, providing solidarity while protesting against violations and harassment of women. Public demonstrations are a significant way to attract attention to injustice and get them addressed. Several campaigns over the years have helped us in passing laws in favor of women's rights. Through such public expositions, several laws have been imposed to protect women. In 1997, the Supreme Court formulated laws to protect women against sexual harassment at workplace and other institutions. In the 1980s, women's organizations spoke against dowry deaths. Many news media reported on this and made it a national issue. This resulted in changing laws which allowed the government to punish families who sought dowry. Though we have a long way to go, certain judicial amendments and laws give us hope for the women's emancipation. With a little bit of help from humankind, women will surely be able to live independently while impacting great change. What do you think? Students, we come to the end of this lesson. We hope this has helped you understand this chapter better. See you soon in other videos of Notebook.